Hi, warm greetings to all of you. Welcome to The Quiet Resonance, a channel dedicated to sharing knowledge for holistic personal development through books. Have you ever had an experience like this? Today, you feel joyful because you were highly productive all morning, you focused on handling important tasks, achieved satisfying results, and didn't feel tired at all. Or, when reading a book, something you truly enjoy, you poured all your attention into it, forgetting everything around you. Time seemed to stand still, and after finishing, you felt an overwhelming sense of joy. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi calls this state of self-forgetfulness the optimal experience of flow. He explains the concept of flow in detail as follows: when an individual focuses completely on an activity, a feeling of exhilaration and deep satisfaction emerges. At this moment, every action and thought connects seamlessly, like a flowing stream of water. Potential is also unleashed to its fullest. Flow is the catalyst on the path of personal growth. When you focus intensely and enter a state of flow, you encounter a remarkably powerful version of yourself. If you're on a journey to improve and develop yourself, I believe this book will be truly essential for you. You might be wondering, hasn't The Quiet Resonance already covered the book Flow before? Indeed, but today is a special episode. I'll discuss this state again for two reasons. First, many of you have sent emails requesting The Quiet Resonance to share more about how to apply the flow state in daily life. Second, Flow is an outstanding psychology book, a scientific work summarizing the lifelong research of psychologist Mihai, so it's worth revisiting multiple times. The previous video about this book was made during the early days of the channel, with brief content and audio that wasn't fully optimized. Therefore, I decided to create a new video to provide a better experience for everyone. If the previous video focused on how to achieve true happiness, this new one will concentrate on how to develop yourself through the optimal experience of flow. Now, I invite you to listen to The Quiet Resonance's sharing titled, "The Fastest Way to Upgrade Yourself Through the Modern Psychological Masterpiece Flow." Stepping through the door of focus, returning to yourself. The author of the book Limitless, Jim Quick, conducted a survey and found that most successful executives reported they could frequently maintain a peak state. During these times, their work performance was 4 times higher than average. This peak state is the flow experience. In the book, the author mentions a case as follows: an ordinary worker on an assembly line at a factory felt his job was extremely boring. While working, he was often distracted, thinking about unrelated matters, such as worrying about a flat tire, concerns about unrepaired household appliances, or even recalling rumors he had just heard. He frequently couldn't keep up with his colleagues' pace. As a result, his leaders criticized him, docked his pay, and his work was far from smooth. In contrast, there was another worker who loved his job. Instead of sitting around chatting or daydreaming, he found going to the factory each day exciting. When immersed in his work, joy naturally arose, motivating him to constantly think about how to complete tasks faster and better. Typically, assembling a unit of components took about 43 seconds. However, to break the record, he strove to focus as intensely as possible each day to practice. Gradually, he could easily maintain focus, even remaining unaffected by the playful conversations around him. Ultimately, in a state free of distractions, he reduced the assembly time to 28 seconds, earning recognition and rewards from his superiors. From this story, we see that, despite being in the same environment with the same conditions, the two workers achieved completely different results. The difference lies in this: one could easily block out distractions, maintain focus, and experience work in a flow state, while the other could not. Russian educator Ashinsky once said, "Focus is the only door to our soul. Everything in your consciousness must pass through focus to penetrate deeply within." This means that focus is the starting point of all psychological activities and the foundation of your mental processes. If you cannot open this door of focus, you lose connection with your inner consciousness. When you cannot access your inner self, you also cannot discover your potential, who you can become, what kind of life you can have, or what your mission is. Moreover, as the author stated, what makes your life less than ideal is chaos. Research has found that whenever we do anything without focus, a phenomenon called mental entropy, or internal disorder, occurs. Entropy disrupts your mind, leading to the disintegration of consciousness and the self, thereby reducing learning and work performance. Therefore, to develop ourselves, we need to counter entropy by increasing the frequency and intensity of flow state experiences. The first core factor here to enter the flow state is complete focus. The first book I chose to share on the quiet resonance was Deep Work, followed by Flow, because the content of these two books complements each other. The profound lesson woven between these two books lies in intense focus. When you practice focusing completely on one task, almost all the knots in your life can be untied. You can enhance your abilities, turning them into an irreplaceable core competency. And even more, your life will become much happier. This is not an exaggeration. I'll share my own process of cultivating focus over many years with you. If you've heard my sharing about deep work, you'll know there are 4 strategies to help someone achieve intense focus. The first strategy, the rhythm strategy. In this approach, we schedule fixed times to focus fully as a daily habit, for example, dedicating 90 minutes each morning without using the phone and focusing entirely on work. If any worries arise, write them down on paper, fold it, and tell yourself you won't think about it, focusing completely on the designated time. The next strategy is the dual peak strategy, meaning we alternate between deep work and shallow work periods. For instance, dedicating 4 days to focusing entirely on an important task and the remaining 3 days to handling less demanding, miscellaneous tasks. The third strategy, the monk strategy. In this approach, we act like monks, cutting off all contact with the outside world, isolating ourselves in a separate environment. This strategy is often suitable for those doing creative work. I've applied all 3 strategies, but ultimately, I found that the most challenging yet most effective one is the journalist strategy. Practicing this strategy helps us flexibly shift into a state of intense focus and deep work at any time in our schedule. When you can master this strategy, your ability to focus becomes stronger than ever, helping you achieve high performance, connect deeply with every activity through intentional consciousness, and live a life that is fuller in every moment. In the past, I was someone who found it very hard to focus. If there was noise around me, I had to lock myself in a quiet corner to work or read effectively. However, when I moved to a new living, studying, and working environment, I no longer had large chunks of time in the day to focus absolutely. Balancing studying, working, and finding time to read and create content all became significant challenges for me. I believe many of you have faced similar challenges, as today's lifestyle fragments our time too much. Therefore, cultivating the ability to focus intensely at any moment is truly crucial. The way I managed to do this was by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness in eating, walking, brushing my teeth, dressing. Every daily action became an opportunity to connect more deeply with the moments around me. Mindfulness means bringing your consciousness to be fully present in whatever you're doing at the current moment. The teacher I followed in this practice was Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh. By reading all his books on mindfulness, I then practiced daily, reminding myself to be mindful in every word. Every time I felt tired or dealt with anger, I needed mindfulness. When you focus on the present in every daily task, gradually, you'll find it easier to focus completely on your work at any time. And if you can focus your mind entirely, you'll experience the joy of self-forgetfulness. Afterward, as shared in the book Dopamine Nation, at this point, the molecules of the present, along with dopamine, the molecule of expectation, work together, making you strive to repeat that experience again. The higher the focus, the greater the satisfaction, leading to a positive feedback loop. Gradually, you'll notice you're no longer distracted by external complexities or affected by irrelevant information. This profound, intrinsic joy acts like a booster, helping you resist the chaos of the outside world and freeing you from internal turmoil. Every action in life requires you to step through the door of focus and return to yourself. This is the first thing I want to share with you to help you easily focus, immerse yourself in the flow state, thereby enhancing work performance, developing your potential, progressing continuously, and, most importantly, experiencing profound intrinsic joy. Besides building intense focus, the second core factor to experiencing the flow state is being able to engage wholeheartedly in a task. However, the question arises, what is the task we can easily engage in wholeheartedly? The author points out that the flow state only occurs when you do a task that is neither too difficult nor too easy for you. Too difficult, and you'll give up. Too easy, and you won't feel motivated. In the book Awaken the Giant Within, it's emphasized that the best area for learning and growth is the edge of your comfort zone, meaning you need to step out of your comfort zone, create a slight challenge for yourself, but not go too far, work in the vicinity of comfort. These are tasks you can control easily, where actions flow naturally. During the process, you'll feel at ease, not frustrated. Upon completion, you'll receive quick feedback and feel satisfied. This satisfaction isn't superficial, like, oh, I'm happy, I finished the task, but a deep, intrinsic satisfaction. The teacher I followed in this practice was Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh. By reading all his books on mindfulness, I then practiced daily, reminding myself to be mindful in every word. Every time I felt tired or dealt with anger, I needed mindfulness. When you focus on the present in every daily task, gradually, you'll find it easier to focus completely on your work at any time. And if you can focus your mind entirely, you'll experience the joy of self-forgetfulness. Afterward, as shared in the book Dopamine Nation, at this point, the molecules of the present, along with dopamine, the molecule of expectation, work together, making you strive to repeat that experience again. The higher the focus, the greater the satisfaction, leading to a positive feedback loop. Gradually, you'll notice you're no longer distracted by external complexities or affected by irrelevant information. This profound, intrinsic joy acts like a booster, helping you resist the chaos of the outside world and freeing you from internal turmoil. Every action in life requires you to step through the door of focus and return to yourself. This is the first thing I want to share with you to help you easily focus, immerse yourself in the flow state, thereby enhancing work performance, developing your potential, progressing continuously, and, most importantly, experiencing profound intrinsic joy. Besides building intense focus, the second core factor to experiencing the flow state is being able to engage wholeheartedly in a task. However, the question arises, what is the task we can easily engage in wholeheartedly? The author points out that the flow state only occurs when you do a task that is neither too difficult nor too easy for you. Too difficult, and you'll give up. Too easy, and you won't feel motivated. In the book Awaken the Giant Within, it's emphasized that the best area for learning and growth is the edge of your comfort zone, meaning you need to step out of your comfort zone, create a slight challenge for yourself, but not go too far, work in the vicinity of comfort. These are tasks you can control easily, where actions flow naturally. During the process, you'll feel at ease, not frustrated. Upon completion, you'll receive quick feedback and feel satisfied. This satisfaction isn't superficial, like, oh, I'm happy, I finished the task, but a deep, intrinsic satisfaction. This means the task you're doing must achieve harmony between mind and action. It shouldn't cause internal conflict within you. For example, if you force yourself to earn a lot of money through a job you don't truly value deep down, feeling disdain for how it's done to attract customers to buy your company's products, even if you achieve outstanding results, you won't feel deep satisfaction. You only achieve temporary gratification from dopamine release, pushing you to strive for higher status or more respect from others, but when you achieve those things, you'll still feel empty. As the author says, chasing insatiable greed will never lead to a flow state. Therefore, choose a task not driven by desire, one that is challenging but not overly difficult. Then, you can engage wholeheartedly, and combined with intense focus, you'll feel time disappear, forgetting yourself, as if you're flowing with a stream. At this moment, you're experiencing the flow state. However, some might wonder, that's for tasks we love, so we can engage wholeheartedly. For tasks we don't like, no matter how hard we try, it won't work. I love a quote from Anne of Green Gables that goes, "If you decide to have a good time, you can always have a good time." Conversely, if you think from the start that it's not fun, then it won't be. The author advises finding tasks you love and are passionate about, as they allow you to engage wholeheartedly and easily enter the flow state. In reality, if you have the opportunity to do work you're passionate about, that's incredibly fortunate and wonderful. Make the most of it and keep nurturing it. But surely, not everyone in this world can easily do the work they love. In such cases, when you don't know what you like or haven't found your ideal job, it's better to follow the advice from the book The Subtle Art of Not Giving a FCK*. If you can't change your fate, try loving your current job. Author Mihai also concluded that when you can disregard what happens externally and change your internal consciousness, you can decide whether to be happy or sad. In other words, even the most ordinary job, if you can focus on it completely and create flow experiences, can become interesting and meaningful to you. Put differently, negative emotions and behaviors like boredom, lethargy, or laziness don't stem from the task itself but from misguided beliefs rooted in your subjective perceptions and judgments about the situation. In fact, when facing a job you don't like, you can still find joy in it by meeting two conditions. First, start with a positive mindset. Stop complaining and stop viewing the job as a burden or difficulty. Second, tell yourself you like this job. For example, if you're afraid of math, to improve the situation, as the book Learn Like a Pro suggests, first change your belief. Think that math isn't scary and that you love it. Or, as Atomic Habits points out, before forming a habit, establish your identity. Imagine yourself as an expert in that field, and your identity will naturally guide you past fears, fostering positive behaviors. This is similar to a technique Mihai proposed, dream. The dreaming he refers to isn't impractical daydreaming but purposeful psychological self-suggestion. In many successful people, we see the power of self-suggestion. A prime example is Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, standing at 1.98 m. In high school, he was only 1.75 m and was once rejected from the school basketball team for being too short. His father was of average height, and his siblings weren't tall either. Genetically, Jordan didn't have the potential to grow tall. But he was incredibly passionate about basketball and quietly told himself, "I must grow taller, taller, come on." Every day, he wished to grow taller and tried every method, like jumping rope, hanging from a pull-up bar, and eating a nutritious diet. Not long after, a miracle happened. Within a year and a half, his height shot up from 1.75 m to 1.92 m. He then easily joined the school basketball team, starting his career, and everything went smoothly. You see, learning to dream correctly is about imagining, self-suggesting, and taking action. Without action, imagination is just an illusion. Effective self-suggestion requires clear goals and a step-by-step plan to achieve them. These factors will help you work wholeheartedly and easily enter the flow state. The final way to enter the flow state is discovering flow in solitude. After studying thousands of cases, author Mihai proposed that someone who knows how to find flow in life can find joy even in the most desperate circumstances. The book recounts a case of a woman over 60 years old. After her husband passed away and her grown children had their own lives, she lived alone on a lonely island. The impermanence of life and death, combined with the solitude and silence, made her feel utterly helpless. She often sighed or cried, missing her husband and children. Endless nights left her sleepless, with every minute and second feeling especially difficult. To ease her pain, she began reading various books left on her bookshelf, writing or drawing her thoughts. Unexpectedly, the rich stories and perspectives led her into a vast spiritual world. In this world, she could forget time and overcome her sorrows. These wonderful, enriching experiences rekindled her passion for life. Besides reading and writing, she grew flowers, planted trees, raised livestock near her home. She also used a board to write humorous stories she created or drew signs to her house. She no longer dwelled on aimless thoughts or was swept away by negative emotions. Her soul grew stronger. Though still living alone, she no longer felt empty or helpless, as flow continuously filled the voids in her soul, sparing her unnecessary losses. Moreover, it led her to a life of intellectual and spiritual growth in her later years. You'll see that solitude is an opportunity that allows us to most easily discover the flow state. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Only when a person is alone can they truly become themselves." When alone, we have the chance to calm our minds, focus on one task, and enjoy joy. This solitude is a high-quality kind of solitude. However, in today's information-overloaded era, most people don't know how to be alone, let alone enjoy solitude. When alone, many grab their phones, watch a movie, play games, or seek entertainment to fill the emptiness in their souls. Your mind constantly wavers with anxieties. The author says the main reason is our lack of solid internal discipline. Year after year, we become lazy, and mental entropy grows increasingly chaotic. To counter entropy, we need to focus and embrace solitude by adding color to life through flow experiences. The author states that almost all activities in life can create flow, such as mountain climbing, baking, learning to dance, gardening, sewing clothes, crafting items from scraps, and so on. These small hobbies and joys outside of busy daily work become flow shelters in your mind, soothing complex emotions, thereby adjusting and strengthening yourself. A person with high self-healing ability who can recover from difficulties is someone who, even when alone and with nothing to do, will find something to do. Instead of chasing society's rewards, they focus on enriching themselves, filling their lives with meaningful, fulfilling moments. Enjoying joy without becoming addicted or enslaved to the pursuit of excitement is key. Additionally, to avoid mental chaos and prevent increased entropy, you need to keep your life balanced. Remember, anything taken to excess loses control and creates negative emotions. The author also suggests another way to easily experience flow. Appreciating art and increasing physical activity. By continually enhancing your ability to appreciate art, you can more easily achieve the flow state. For example, listening to music seriously and with focus allows the soul's vibrations to be stirred by quality sound, helping you enter the optimal experience. Moreover, physical activity is always an excellent way to reduce stress. When we challenge our body's limits, negative emotions like boredom, fatigue, or dissatisfaction are released through sweat, leaving a light body and a relaxed mind, making it easier to enter the flow state and revive yourself in suffering. In the book Flow, there's a quote I love: "Anyone who can persistently overcome suffering and failure will turn their life into an unceasing flow." It's a series of focused, wholehearted, orderly experiences that create countless meanings and joys from that internal order. In the pursuit of flow, we inevitably face loneliness when dealing with problems alone or persistent boredom, but these difficulties and hardships are temporary. They are the necessary challenges for your growth. So, set clear, specific goals, focus intensely, love the work you do, engage wholeheartedly, and persevere. You will become stronger than ever with the help of flow on your path of personal growth. Thank you for listening. If you find this video helpful, please share it with those who need it. Don't forget to give me a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to catch the latest videos every week. Once again, thank you, and see you in the next videos.